Okay, so today we are going to start with one of the an example of production externality, and we will apply different solution methods to solve. First we'll describe the problem, the nature of the problem, and wherein this externality is coming. Then we'll go to solve the problem. Okay. All right. So there are two farms, definitely, as I said. So this is a two farms example. So you consider the first one to be the upstream polluter. So obviously that means that there is a river. So there is an upstream polluter A who produces two goods. One is obviously the good that A is meant to produce, and this is our waste. Okay, and these wastes, where do they go? They are dumped in the river. So consider this some kind of a pollution in Ganges or pollution in those rivers were flowing coming down from the mountain. Okay, all right. Or you can actually look into the river accords, or how to how to segregate the ownership right of water using of a river which flows through several countries. So one of the very close example will be Tista, which is flowing through both in West Bengal, India, and Bangladesh. There are a lot of turmoils regarding how to use the waters of that river. Okay, because it generates the kind of use to which this Tista is put into, puts a lot of external effects or externality, so to say, in our literature on West Bengal. Okay, so as I just said earlier, that these are real problems. Okay, and today we are going to try three kinds of solutions. So there is, okay, so somebody is polluting the river in the upstream, and obviously there is a downstream victim, I'll say. Okay, so that victim is some farm B who is meant to produce XB2. Okay, all right, so the cost function of A, it will be, say, cost of A, so CA, XA1 and S. We include S because obviously this S is a byproduct. It's such a byproduct which reduces the cost of A, the cost of producing XA1 by A. Okay, and then there is cost function of B, which also obviously will include S. Sorry, this will be 2. So XB2 comma S, where the role of S is exactly opposite. So here S increases the cost of production of B. Now, obviously, we have to include increases, or we have to include increases. The reason is very simple. The reason is this, that if we don't include that, then there is no problem at all. If the waste's dumped, it doesn't affect the production of B, then there is no way that B is going to complain. We will say, okay, it is fine, right? So that is something that if we allow, then there will be no problem at all. All right. Okay, so now to simplify our problem, we'll make an assumption, and the assumption is that input markets are perfectly competitive. Okay, now see that the world that we have constructed, okay, there are two farms only, A and B. So after some point we'll be talking about two things. One is private marginal cost or private cost, and one is the social cost. Now, when we'll be saying social cost, just to be clear, by that we don't mean the society at large. We are meaning the society which is formed here by A and B. Okay. So when we'll be talking about social cost here, we'll be talking about the effect in terms of cost that is produced by the wastes generated by A. Okay. All right. So that's our consideration here. It can be extended in reality, and it is extended in reality. And sometimes, as you may understand, to include all the components or all the bodies affected through this kind of waste dumping is quite a hard job. Okay. Okay, and we are going to make two more assumptions which will reflect these two things. So number one will be that DCB XB2 DS. Okay, so this will be positive, and obviously the other one will be DCA XA1 S DS will be negative, or at least equal to. So we'll keep that open. Okay, so less than or equal to. Okay, so this is our setup. Now we are going to look at the optimization problem or the profit maximization problem of A and B and see how this creates a problem. Okay. Okay. So profit maximization problem of A and B. So you're going to write the problem of A here and write the problem of B here. Okay, I hope you have taken a look to this. So we are going to erase this part, the assumptions. Okay. All right. So now, so as I said, for A, we are going to write that in the left side. So what is it? This is maximize XA1, S, because dump waste is created by A can optimally choose how much to produce, right? So it's a choice variable for X. And now, by writing P1 XA1 minus the cost, we are also saying implicitly that there is no cost associated to there is no revenue generated, or there is no price paid for generating waste. Okay, so look at this. This is the cost of production of XA1, right? Which is obviously a function of these two. But what I'm saying is that apart from producing XA1, the farm is also producing S. But here, there is no term for S, right? Okay. So we'll look at, in the optimality condition, we'll find that if you are free to dump, what really happens? So take for an example, if you are free to throw out your garbage from your roof to the adjacent vacant land, what will happen? So we are taking that kind of a scenario. Okay. Now what is the problem for B? Now B, although it's a victim of the waste, cannot really control the waste. So B has only one variable here, XB2. Okay, so the rest of it is kind of symmetric. Okay. Okay. Now obviously you understand that P1 and P2 are the prices of the commodities. Okay. So now let's look at the FOCs. Okay. Okay. So remember this. Okay. There is no S for second farm B because it can't control the waste. All right. So FOCs of maximization. FOCs of maximization. So what are they? For A, so obviously there is P1 equal to MC, which is DCA XA1. So that is the first one. And then there is a second one, which is 0 equal to DCA XA1S DS. Now for B, that becomes P2 equal to DCB XB2 comma S DXB2. So yes, as we are saying that there is no component of DS here. Now that's obviously one point of concern, but look at these two. They relate to perfectly competitive outcome, right? So they relate to perfectly competitive scenario, because P equal to MC and P equal, these both of them are P equal to MC essentially, right? Both are P equal to MC written in each firm's term. Now that's fine, but what about this one? How to interpret this? Okay, try to think. How should we interpret the third condition, which is new here? This condition basically says that A dumps waste until cost of dumping an additional unit. So that's just writing the marginal idea in English. An additional unit becomes 0. So that's what it says. Okay. And why this is good? Because, see, theoretically speaking, we should have expected price here. And this is the price. What is the price? The price is that price is 0. Why? Because wastes are free to dump. Okay, now this problem, okay, we initially said that B is a victim, so whenever you produce S, there is an effect on the cost of B. But then we saw that since B can't control the choice of S, these are the optimality condition if we treat them separately. And the treatment said that since wastes, the price of dumping waste is basically 0, this is the equilibrium condition, and that's fine given our knowledge. But there is one problem. The problem is that if I now bring in the fact that S actually creates a cost burden on B, then that burden is never reflected in this picture. Okay, so in this picture there is no point where we learn that B is the victim. Okay, and that makes the cost of dumping waste non-zero. That is not clear here. That is not here actually. That is not even here. Okay, that 0 guarantees this. Okay, but we know this to be true because we considered it, right? Okay, so from that, what we can now write is this. We can write this, that if, so this is our scenario, right? We call it our scenario. So what is the scenario? If A increases output, it increases cost of production of B, which is not reflected in individual optimization, right? This is externality. This is externality caused by A and imposed on B. Okay, so that's externality. Now you have a very precise meaning of the term. So there is a burden, but that burden is not reflected in individual optimization. So our ideal situation of perfect competition is not ideal anymore. Okay, so that's the point of studying these market failures. Okay, now from that, so I'll move this part. So let's keep it for some time. So now that brings us, as I was saying, to two kind of costs that now we need to consider. So now, so cost of production of A, it has two natures. So number one, there is a private cost, the burden that is over only A. So private cost, or you can say own cost, okay? Or here only A is cost. And there is the other, which is called the social cost, as I was saying. And I said that by society, here we'll be considering only B, because that's our construction. Okay, so what will our social cost include? Our social cost will include the increased cost of production of B due to production of A. That's what our social cost will include. Now, here it doesn't include, and where the marginal cost of waste generation is positive, it is not reflected here, it is zero. Given that, we can state a very important result. So what is that result? The result is that A will dump too much waste, right? And good one will be overproduced. A will dump too much waste and good one will be overproduced. Now there is a very common scenario which explains this. For example, in this city, in almost all cases, the garbage vans, they go to everyone's house or apartment or building or whatever. Okay, and in some cases, and in many cases, there are there are security people who kind of take the waste for you. But even in that scenario, we have situations where people just don't do that because they have an option of dumping the waste. So, and the option is, as we can see here, the option is costless. So because of that, they end up dumping too much waste. Okay. So as you can say that, I mean, ignorance can also become a habit when it is not checked. All right. So here the argument is very simple. Here there should have been a positive number, but it's not. It's zero, and you have assumed that this is at least non-positive. So definitely will result in too much waste. And since there is too much waste, you can intuitively connect that good one will be overproduced. Okay. So now this is our problem. This is the nature of our problem. Now we are going to look at it diagrammatically. Okay. And now I'm going to erase this. So let's look at the diagram, which will reproduce this result. So optimum of A. Now this is a demand supply diagram, okay? And there is another kind of diagram which some of you may have seen, which is the cost and benefit diagram, marginal cost and marginal benefit diagram. So we'll come to that in another example. Here we'll just introduce in passing how such a diagram is being constructed. Okay, but this is not that. This is the demand supply kind of a diagram. Okay, so here we have XA1, right? And here we have MC, and because of that, we have price. Now, as we said, that there are two kinds of MCs. So for simplicity, we are considering MC private, so PR private, to be constant, and MC social to be increasing, which is reasonable. The more waste there is, it becomes more costly, right? Look at all the factories who are dumping garbages in Ganges. You will realize that. Okay, now let's take a demand curve, which is this. Now in the private optimum, so we'll call this EPR. So this is our private optimum of A. That is the mathematical problem we just solved. There, the amount of production that is being chosen as optimal is this one. So XA1. So this is our private optimal, right? But as we saw that the associated social cost is appearing at this point, let's say F. So this gap is the cost imposed by the production of good 1 of this amount, and this is also the cost which is ignored entirely by A because A doesn't pay for it. Okay, so that shows this result, that XA1 will be overproduced, right? So here we see this overproduction. So this is our overproduction. Okay. Okay. So why this is ignored? So ignore. Okay, I'll write it like this. So this gap is ignored. Why? As 0 equals our DCA, DCS, DCA, DS, right? It is because of that this is ignored. Okay. So now we will be looking at the first. Now we'll be looking at the solutions. Okay. In a moment we'll look at the first kind of solution. So there are three kinds of solution that we'll be looking into, or let's say resolution, or you can say solutions. What are they? First, we'll look at the traditional ways. That is, they are suggested way back. Okay, so what are the traditional ways? Number one is merger, otherwise at times called internalization. By this time you know what a merger means. We are going to take these two forms and make them a single body. And we hope that in that case, since A will own both good 1 and good 2, it will realize that producing A will hamper the production of B. And because of ownership, A will choose a point where both the production of both the goods are balanced. So that's the idea behind the concept of merger. Then comes Pigouvian taxation. So that is obviously after the name of Pigou. So taxation. So what is the idea? The idea is simple. Do you know how much is the social optimum? That's the first question. So do you know how much is the social optimum? If you know that, then tax either the pollution or the quantity in such a way that the desired social optimal output is produced. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. It's a very simple idea. So that's the idea behind Pigouvian taxation. And the third is the application of Coase theorem. This is the application of Coase theorem. So what is the idea of Coase theorem? Coase theorem says that, actually Coase theorem shows rather, that the generation of this externality problem is involved in the undefined or not so clearly defined property rights. So what Coase theorem says is that if property right is clearly defined and if bargaining is costless, then the agents who are involved in this problem of externality, they can come to a solution. Okay, a solution which is Pareto efficient. And the beauty or the strength, as I say at first point, of Coase theorem is that the achievement regarding efficiency, it is independent of who owns the resource. Okay, so we'll see that. We'll see two cases under Coase theorem. In one case, obviously, where the ownership right will be given to B, who is the victim here, and in the other case, the ownership right will be given to A, who is the polluter here. Okay, and we'll see that the optimality conditions that we arrive at, all of them are identical. Okay, so we'll see all of them. All right. Obviously, we'll look at the optimization problem that are involved in each of them. Okay, so we are going to keep this diagram which shows the private optimum of A, okay, and then we will look into how the idea of merger changes the whole thing. Okay. So, merger. Okay. So, the idea is that if the internalization occurs, so after internalization, what will be the profit maximizing problem? The profit maximization, the pi max problem of the merged farm is, so what is it? Let's look at that. And then accordingly we'll change the diagram. So it will be maximize. So now you have XA1, XB1 and S. And then you are producing two goods, right? So this becomes your problem. Minus, now you have cost of both. So XA1S, XB2 S. Okay. So now this shows that suddenly, that now if I go on differentiating, which we'll do that in the next session, what will happen? We'll have the marginal cost whereby we'll be differentiating the sum of these two costs. And that will lead us to a point of equilibrium, which is this one, which is this one. So XA hat, XA1 hat, right? Okay. So here the cost of the private cost of A and the cost of B both are added. So that means that if when I'm going to differentiate, the MC will include the MC of the society, the kind of marginal cost that you have drawn here, right? And now in the diagram, the equilibrium will appear at this point. So merger indeed guarantees that the output X1 hat will be produced, which is the social optimal. Now, obviously, this is a diagrammatic representation. So, in the next session, we'll come and we'll see the mathematical derivation of the first order conditions or the necessary conditions, which will ensure that social optima is indeed generated.